Hey modelers, EngineerJeff here, and in this tutorial we're going to paint a Cryx Bane Thrall from the War Machine line, Privateer Press. So we're going to start out with some Vallejo Model Air steel and paint everything that we want to have a nice silverish color. Don't be afraid to get some paint on there. I kind of glop it on, and if I get too much in one spot, I'll just pull off of that and use it to paint other areas. These guys are the start of my Cryx army, so I think I'm going to be running Scar and in both of her variations, both the Pirate Queen and regular Scar. I'm going to need some thralls. So now we'll take some Vallejo Model Air Rust. I think the Games Workshop color is like 10 bits or something, or it was. I don't really know the new color line for GW, so if somebody wants to chime in the comments down below, feel free. We're just going to paint the shoulder pads and the mail armor on him, and a couple spots on the axe and on the back of the spikes that are on the shoulders. On his upper back, rather. For this tutorial, I'm using a Winsor Newton Series 7 size 2, a 2/0 brush. It's a pretty good size. It holds a lot of paint, but it also has a nice fine tip for getting into some detail work. Pretty much speed painting these, so I'm not being real careful about where everything goes, but just have fun with it. I think a normal unit of these is 10, and then you get a unit attachment. So I'm going to be painting quite a few of these up. Don't want to get stuck on details, unless you're going for that kind of thing. Should end up something a little like that. So now we're going to take some Game Color Bone White, and we're going to paint the head, the skull. I thin my paint down about a 50-50 mix on anything that's non-metallic. So this took a couple coats to get good coverage. I'm also going to use this color to paint they're like wraps that are up underneath the armor on the arms. It's kind of tricky to get to. I'm going to take this green zinc from Vallejo Model Air. I'm going to paint the robes. I guess these are robes. Whatever a spectral zombie warrior guy with a big two-handed axe would wear. You wouldn't call it a dress, I guess. I guess if he's dead, he really wouldn't care either. You just cut your head off. Cha-chow. And after a few coats, I think I put 2 or 3 coats on this to get good coverage. Should get something a little like this. Going to take some U.S. Interior Yellow by Vallejo Model Air, mix a little bit of it in with the green color that we used on the robe, and do our first highlight. Just going to hit all the raised edges. Again, I'm not being too crazy careful about where I get everything. As long as the paint gets in the general area, I'm happy. And should have something a little like that. And we'll take a little more of the yellow and hit the extreme edges for a second layer of highlighting. Should end up something a little like that. So we're going to take some Vallejo Model Air light brown, and we're going to paint the axe handle. Trying to be a little more careful here so I don't get any on the metallics. If you mess up, then just go back and correct it. A little bit of silver or bronze color or whatever it is you got. Have fun with it. Should end up with something a little like this. Once you get your base coat done, your colors all blocked in, you're going to want to hit it with some gloss coat. I use the Testors. And I'm going to start out, mix a little bit of the Devlin mud that I've got in with Badab Black. I really don't know what's Games Workshop calls those colors now, but it's just a wash. And we're just going to cover the entire model with it. Again, if you see it pooling up in a spot that you don't want it to pool up in, just dry the brush off and then go back in and use the brush to wick it out. Capillary action will pull the wash right back up into the brush. The only part you really don't want to get it on is the robe. We're going to use a different color wash for that. So just hit all the metallic parts. And the skull. And I had a little bit left over, so I went ahead and put some of this on the base. So what we're going to do is take some of this Thraka green wash that I've got and use it on the robe. Just kind of brings all the colors together, knocks the highlights down just a tad. Gives you a little bit of shading. And when it dries, I'll pop it with a dull coat, and it looks a little like that. So I want to put a highlight on the rust color that I used for the shoulders and the mail. And I'm going to use this Vallejo Liquid Gold and just hit the raised edges, just the very edge of the shoulder pads, just places where it might have gotten worn. And I'll just hit a couple spots on the mail where light might catch it. End up a little something like that. So we'll take some Vallejo Model Air Chrome, and we're going to catch the edge of the axe blade and any other areas that might need highlighting. Some of the armor on the hands, the blades coming off the back, some of the extreme edges over here on this side armor on the back. I also like to use the chrome to get the very extreme edges on the shoulder pads. Gives it a really worn look. So we'll take this Vallejo Model Air white and we're going to paint the eyes. And this lays the foundation for the next color. It really makes the eyes pop if you got a nice white background. Now this is some Dayglow green that I mixed up, my own recipe. You can also use this Escorpina green. It's really close in color. And we're going to paint the eyes, give them the glowy, necrotic look. Should end up something like that. I also went in and took some of that Dayglow green and hit the edges of the robe. Kind of made them pop a little more. And here's some still shots. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Put some comments down below, and of course subscribe. I got a whole slew of Cryx videos coming soon, and we're going to kind of bounce back and forth between those and the Tyranids. See ya.